So the next pose is downward facing dog. So for this pose, we start on the hands and knees, perfect. And then turn your hands out just a tiny bit so that the pointer fingers are pointing straight forward. Good, yep, so then this makes a J right there, good. Now walk your knees back about 2 inches. Curl your toes under. Now on your inhale, start to lift just the knees and the hips up off the mat. Now push into your knuckles, and as you exhale, lift the hips up and back. Good, okay. So what I want you to do, Zora, is have bad form for a second. I want you to round the back. Well, I don't want to say bad form, but I just want you to round the back for a second so I can fix it. Okay, so a lot of times, round it more. She's too good. So a lot of times people's backs will be rounded like this, okay? So what I want you to do is bend the knees now, and then lift the hips up and back, perfect. So see then how she really lengthens the spine here. Good. Okay, so now what we want to focus on with the arms is you want to roll the shoulders away from each other, perfect. And as you do that, then squeeze them into the joints here. So now you probably feel these muscles turn on more, okay? But draw the low ribs in now because you kind of arched your back a bit. Now keep that, but roll the forearms in. Knuckles heavy, heavy, heavy. So the arms are going 2 different directions. Yes, and then roll those in, good. Now knees could be straighter than that. So now keep everything with the upper body, but start to straighten the legs. More, more. Straighten your legs. Yeah, good. Walk your feet back maybe 1 inch. Okay, straighten more. So not everybody's gonna straighten, but I just know that she can. So as long as you can keep this straight, then you can start to straighten the legs. If you straighten the legs and the back rounds, then you need to bend the knees a little bit. So her pelvis is tilting forward in this one because downward facing dog is a forward fold, okay? So she's folded in half. All right, come down to your hands and knees. Perfect. So there's not a ton with the legs. The legs are parallel to each other. The feet can either be together in down dog, or I usually keep them about 2 or 3 inches apart. So again, you just want to make sure that the pelvis is tilting forward. So sit back onto your heels for a second, Zora, and just, yeah, sit up. There you go. So a lot of times people will try to kind of cram their heels into the ground, and then that rounds the back, okay? So instead I have people walk the feet back a couple inches, bend the knees, and then watch as I push into my knuckles and send the hips up and back. Okay, so now I'm in a straight line from the wrist all the way up to the hips, okay? And my pelvis is tilting forward. So if you can keep your upper back like this, then you can start to straighten the legs. The heels don't necessarily have to be down. If they go down, fine, but they don't have to. I think sometimes people they sacrifice their form just to jam their heels down. Okay, so a good way to practice that shoulder wrap for your down dog is to stand tall on your knees or come to standing, and then roll the shoulders away from each other. So instead of here, roll away from each other like you're trying to close your armpits, right? And then squeeze them into the joints. So instead of just kind of wrapping and having them all loosey-goosey, wrap and squeeze them in. And then the upper arms rotate this way, okay? Something that can happen, doesn't happen often, but with people with a super bendy back like myself, when teachers in class might say, because the majority of students are like this, okay? So they'll say, push your ribs towards your legs, okay? Well, if most people, that'll bring them here, right? Which is good. But for people like me, okay, there we go. Okay, so then that's arched. So that cue is not going to work for me. So what I would suggest is taking a video of yourself and watching the video and see what your tendency is, if you're arching too much or you're rounding too much.